All right. I want to go over some movement tips, technique, and form for you ladies to make sure that we're doing our exercises correctly. We never want to have some steps back from getting injured because we're doing things wrong, and we want to get the most benefits out of the exercise. Okay. So I'm going to go over a few tips. So here is the plank. There they are. I'm like, where are they? So here is the plank. Okay, so a few tips for you guys. I've got Coach Abby here. We have good form and bad form. So let's watch the bad form over here on the right. Okay, it played the good form. Let's watch the good form over here on the left. Notice she has a straight line from her neck to tailbone to feet. And that's why it's called a plank. So we want to stack the shoulders over our wrist. We want to pull the belly button into the spine, squeeze the lats, which is right under your armpits, your quads, the front of your legs, and your glutes, your booty. Squeeze all of that. So you shouldn't just be holding, you should be squeezing. Okay. So this is a good plank Coach Abby's doing, either on the elbows or on the hands. All right. And here is some bad form that I see over here on the right quite a bit. We may see swaying or rounding of the spine or dumping into the lower back, or we might see a booty up high in the air. When we sway like this, we're dumping so much weight and pressure into our lower spine, which is just going to cause more pain. So if you already have some back issues, you're just going to make it worse. So we really want to pull that belly button in, squeeze our lats, squeeze our booty, squeeze our quads. All right. Stack the shoulders over the wrists. If you need to, you can always modify by doing it on your knees. But again, you still want the hip to, the spine to be one line. Okay. So there is our plank. Next, we are going to take a look at, sorry guys, this video's, because there's videos on here, it's not letting me switch. Okay, we're going to look at the squat. I see lots of good form and bad form in the squat. Let's look at the bad form on the right. She has a narrow stance. And so we want to make the weight go into the heels. Let's watch the good form first. Pushing the hips back towards the wall, feet just outside shoulder width. We initiate by pushing the butt back, pushing the knees out, and keeping the weight in the heels, dropping down below parallel, but if possible, unless you have a bad knee. The butt should be below the knees and forcing the knees open. So let's watch that good one again. That is a perfect squat that Coach Abby's doing here. Weight in the heels. You should be able to wiggle your toes. Your tailbone should move back towards the back wall first. Okay. So let's go over here. Let's watch a bad squat. So she's definitely exaggerating this, but she's got her weight in her toes, not in her heels. So all the pressure is now going on her kneecaps, which is going to definitely hurt your knees. You don't want to round out the back. You want to maintain a nice midline. Notice she just let her knees fall inwards. We want to keep our knees opened, pressing out the whole time. And also don't be too shallow. So watch one more time. Weight is not in the heels. We want to keep the weight in the heels, not up on our tippy toes. We want to get nice and deep. She's not getting deep enough here. So we want to go to full depth so we get the full benefit of the squat, and then don't allow those knees to cave in. You want to press those knees open, activating your medius, and so that things are all working and we're not putting any pressure on those knees. All right. So there is the squat. Moving on to the next video is the lunge. So let's take a look. Good form. So we want to maintain an upright torso, and we want to step far enough out so that the front heel stays down on the floor. You don't want the heel to lift. You don't want to let that knee come forward over the toe. If it comes excessively over the toe, you're going to be hurting your knee as well. You want to keep the center of gravity right between your legs. And so you should be lowering right between both legs, right in the middle. So let's watch the good one first. Notice she's on her heel, not her toes. Her center of gravity is coming straight down the middle. Her knee is not protruding over her toes. A lot of times when we do a step forward lunge, we'll let our knee go too far forward. So this is what a good lunge looks like. Let's take a look at the bad form. She's up on her toes and she's not taking a big enough step forward. You can see that knee just coming right over the toe. And she's not applying all the weight to the front foot. Um, she's applying all the way to the front foot. We want to keep that center of gravity so we're equally distributed between legs. All right. So again, let's watch the good one more time here on the left. You can see the comparison. This is a great lower body exercise, one of my favorites to tone up the booty, hamstrings, and quads. Hip hinge. Hip hinge is a big one. A lot of times we see people dropping the chest, rounding out the spine, bending the knees, more of a squat than a hip hinge. So the exercises we do a hip hinge is going to be the stiff leg, deadlift, kettlebell swing, bent over row, good mornings. We use them in several exercises. So we do want to be sure that we're doing a hip hinge correctly. Okay, so tips for a good form is initiate by sending the butt back as far as possible first. Okay, maintain the midline by pulling the shoulders back and down. Squeeze your abs through the entire movement. You'll be surprised that you are squeezing your abdominal muscles this whole time and squeezing the glute at the top. So, like on a kettlebell swing or an RDL or stiff leg or good morning, you're going to squeeze the glutes at the top of the movement. So, let's watch Abby do a good one. Notice how the booty is going back to the back wall first. First thing moving is the tailbone is going back to the back wall. She's going to show you with this broom how to have her her spine in total alignment as one unit. And you can do that with a broom or PVC pipe. That's what it should look like, a nice flat back. She's going to show us a few exercises that hip hinge. So here's the stiff leg. Notice her flat back. So if you think chest out, eyes up, you'll have a nice flat back. Try not to round out that spine. Now she's going to show us a kettlebell swing. And all the work is in the hips. She's not using her upper body to lift that bell. It's all momentum from the hips. And here's your bent over row. Again, chest out, chin up, nice flat back on that hip hinge. So this is what we see a lot of times. We see a rounding of the back, a disengaged core, bending over rather than pushing back. So she's going to do a few of those same exercises with you with a bad hip hinge. So notice the spine is all rounded. And all that's going to do is dump pressure into your spine and give you more pain. Notice her shoulders are shrugging forward. Her neck is forward instead of eyes up and chest out. Same thing on her kettlebell swing, big rounded spine. Okay, so again, let's take a look at the good one. Flat back, chest out, eyes up. Super important. I would really recommend practicing your hip hinge. Try it with the broom. Look at your profile in a mirror and see if you round it out. See if you have a flat back. Sometimes you may think you have a flat back and you may not. The push-up. Okay, so the push-up is a big one and it tends to be a little bit more challenging for us ladies. So we can always do them on our knees. That's never a problem. So for the good form, we want to maintain a straight line again from the heels to the head, keeping 45 degrees at the armpit by tucking the elbows into the rib. So think about like you don't want somebody to tickle you. Okay. So what would you do? You would tuck your elbows in towards your ribs, and that would protect the armpit. And that's the form you want here. We're going to lower the chest all the way to the floor for a full range of motion. If you can't get all the way to the floor on your toes, then definitely go ahead and do them on your knees. There's no shame in that. We start where we can and we do it with good form. Eventually you'll get up on your toes. So Abby's doing a perfect push-up here on the left. On the right, we're going to show you swaying and rounding of the back. We don't want to be pushing the elbows out, creating 90 degrees at the elbow. Again, we want to tuck them in and protect that tickle spot. No half reps, no short range of motion, or no booty in the air. We have to keep that booty down so that the weight is forward and we're having to use that body weight as resistance. So notice the big sag in her waist, really bad for the spine. Booty in the air, again, a sag. And again, all the booty weight was left behind on that last one. So you weren't creating any resistance. Watch the last push-up she does on her knees. She's not getting any resistance there because the booty's all the way back. You still need a straight line. Even if you're on your knees, you want a straight line from the hip, tailbone to the head. Okay, watch right here. Straight line from tailbone to head. Okay. All right. If you have weightlifting questions, all you need to do is comment on this post or send me an email, info@wearestrengthsisters.com. You can always film yourself and take a look at yourself, the squat, the lunge, the push up, the plank, kettlebell swing, stiff leg deadlift. Set your phone up, record yourself so that you can watch. And that's it, ladies. But this is super important that we're doing things right so we get the most benefits out of each exercise and so that we don't set ourselves back by injuring ourselves. Again, comment on this post if you have any questions. If you want to post yourself doing your push-up or your squat or your kettlebell swing for me to look at, feel free to go ahead and do that anytime, and I'll take a look. All right, girls, have a great day.